Hey everyone, Mango7Roll here. How we doing today? Welcome to another edition of How to Use LDPlayer Right. We're talking about Epic 7 today with LDPlayer, the best emulator right now, much better than any of the others. If you don't have it downloaded, please give it a shot. You can see how to do it here. It just runs everything fantastically smooth, as you will be able to see here while I'm recording. We're going to talk about rerolling in Epic 7 and rerolling a ton at once, because you don't want to do this one at a time. You want to do it like 10 at once if you can, whatever your poor little computer can handle. So it starts off really easy. We're going to start from the very beginning here. Just Google LDPlayer. That's it. Hit the Google there, and the first one you see, en.ldmnq.com, just click on that. And here you go. Just click download one, get it downloaded. Then come right back to this video once it's downloaded. Also, if you have this already downloaded, it'll give you an option in the installation to kind of overwrite your old files and keep your settings. Make sure you click that. If you click that, you won't lose anything. Nothing will change whatsoever outside of any fixes they've done. Another good thing to mention is please try to install this on a good hard drive. A good hard drive makes a huge difference here, especially if you can put it on an SSD. It makes all the difference in the world when it comes to the speed of this emulator and all the other emulators. So once you have this installed, you need to load up LD multiplayer, and you can do that by going into the directory, or you can just do a Windows search for LD space or LD, and then LD multiplayer comes up. That's what I do. That's the easiest way to do it. Make sure you run everything with admin too, just because stuff seems to run better that way in Windows 10 at least. We're going to start you off completely fresh here, and I can't even express how much easier this is with this game to reroll compared to others. It makes it so much easier. So we're just going to start a new clone here, and it opens it up. We want to rename that to whatever we want. I like to call this game Jiggle Simulator. So let's do that. Jiggle Simulator EX. Once we've done that, we want to click into this little settings bar here. We want to go to basic, and we want to disable root permission. This is always a problem people have. Just disable this if you're ever having trouble with any sort of games. That really helps things out. That's a lot of things games block, so it's really good to get rid of that. I'm also going to keep all the settings just as it is for now. I'm not really worried about how this one runs yet, and I want it to be visual so we can see inside the game while we're getting this set up. So let's start up the Jiggle Simulator here. It will take just a moment for it to load. It usually gets stuck at around 94%, but then it just chugs its way along here. This is just, like, I can't even... It's so good. Like, the re-rolling in Epic 7 is just wonderful. It makes me so happy with how much they catered to people like us, because a lot of people don't like re-rolling, you know? Like, they don't enjoy it. They hate it. Every a little ounce of re-rolling just makes them upset. But I personally, like, I could re-roll all day long for like the next year, just straight, because I love it. It's so much fun. You get so many summons. You don't have to spend money on the summons. You get everything. It's amazing. Anyways, from here, we're in the game. Now, this honestly works a little differently every time, but the general idea is just click on search games at the very top here. Once this comes in, you can type in Epic 7, or you can just click on it right here. I always get the hiccups. And let's install. And sometimes this is going to ask you to install Google Play services, to update Google Play services, to log into your Google Play, everything like that. If it does ask that, just follow the instructions, keep hitting install. When it asks you to log in, I just make a fake account. I've got a throwaway one I use, and that's the only time I have to do it. I don't know the rhyme or reason as to when or why it asks. I think it depends on how updated the emulator is at the time. We'll see if it asks me here. I hope it does, just so I can show you, but it's really simple. Just honestly click through the options and you are set. Don't do anything funny like trying to disable Google Play services like we have for other games. Just keep it super simple with this one, because they're not trying to attack emulators. They're trying to keep it accessible to everybody here. So for here, just hit next, get everything good, hit install. This does take a second, so I will be right back. Okay, we're now installed here. Let's just hit open. Hope it asks for Google Play services, all those shenanigans. I don't think it will, because we're recording, and why would it ever? Oh, yay, there we go. So Epic 7 won't run it unless you update Google services. Just click update here. It'll take you to this window, and we again go through the update thing. Or not. Like I said, this acts completely different every time I do this. Sometimes it takes you to a window to update, sometimes it takes you to log in, so many different things. And we're gonna do this patch here first. You only need to do downloads once in this game, so I'm gonna start this up and I'll see you again in just a second here, folks. Okay, we are now done. We've got this update finished, and what we're gonna do not click any buttons from this point. Just hit the button at the bottom right, the app selection, and just close everything by dragging it to the right. We're then going to skip the cinematics here, and you only have to do this if you don't want to watch the cinematics. This does save 5+ minutes per reroll, so I really recommend you doing it. But then I recommend fixing it after, just so you can see them for yourself for the later story, because they are fantastic. So what I do here, go into File Manager. This is one of those things that sometimes works slightly different depending on your resolution and other things, so just bear with me here. At the top right, we have a search button. We're going to click that. We're just going to type in cinema, and that should bring us up with a couple things here. I'm honestly not sure which ones of these I want to do, but let's do the top one. This one says Legacy. I don't like Legacy, so let's go with the top one here. We're going to click into it. Once we click into it, we just want to go back one, so hit the double dots. And then we find cinema here. So what we want to do is do a long press on it and hit rename. And we want to rename that to Cinema Jiggles or something like that. And what this will do is when the game tries to find the cinemas, it just can't find them, so it doesn't play them, and it just skips the whole process. So that is awesome. And honestly, we're done. That's it. From this point out, our emulator is super ready to go. So what we now do is I just close it, and then we're gonna bring up the this thing here again, the LDPlayer. When we find our Jiggle Simulator EX, we want to click up Settings, and we want to go to whatever you're comfortable with here. So this is entirely dependent on your computer and so many other factors. What I do is I find the lowest setting, so 540 by 960 here at the bottom, and I cut it in half. So I go to Customize here. I go to 270 by, what is this, 960, so 450, 480, is that right? 480, and then DPI, I just put it at like 200. And this is the settings I use. There's something similar to that, depending on how good you want the quality, because you're not going to be able to see much of what's going on, but you don't care about that. All you care about is this running as good as possible. And I keep these at 1 core and 2 gigs of RAM, but again, entirely dependent on your computer. And a lot of your performance here is going to be completely dependent on your RAM, your CPU, and your drive space. Not drive space, but drive speed, your hard drive. So keep that in mind. This is going to be super different for everybody. And at that point, I want to click on Optimization. And I would disable audio when multiplaying to reduce CPU. There's no reason to have audio going while you're doing it multiple things like this. So I disable that. A lot of people can't figure that out, so make sure you do that and then re-enable it when you want sound to work. I would also click this to high speed here, and I would go to batch operations, and this is however many clones you want to run. I usually run about 10. But I'm recording right now, so it's probably going to be a little harder for me, so I'm just going to do 7 here. And what you want to do is select your Jiggle Simulator EX, go to Batch, and make sure you only have that one selected, none of the other ones. Go to Batch, and just hit Batch Clone 7. And then it's going to clone 7 different ones. This will take anywhere from like a minute to like 5 minutes each, depending on your computer. And we'll be back in 1 second when all of these are donezo. Okay, we now have all of our Jiggle Simulators all ready. We're gonna de-check this one here, and we're gonna select all 7 of the ones we just started, all the way up to 26. Then we're gonna hit Batch, Start Selected. And just a warning here, before you do what I do every single day, do not remove selected. Always remove things manually over here, because you never know what you accidentally have checkmarked. I've deleted so many good accounts because I'm an idiot. Do not be Mango. Do not be an idiot. Let's do Start Selected here. And this might lag me for a second. It's always the most intense on the initial startup, so don't worry too much if you start to super crash here. But I would honestly, I probably should have told you this a couple minutes ago, but I would honestly start with 3 or 4, see if it works, then start another one up and start another one up until you start to really notice the frame rate lag. Also, I don't know why I'm moving them over, because when I click on Epic 7, it's gonna switch where they are. Let's do that a little bit. And again, this is going to be the super bananas laggy part. It's okay, everything is fine, just power through the pain, let your processor feel the burn. It needs a good workout every now and then. So all the jiggle simulators almost done here. I'm so happy, like, I think I've said this like 7 times in this video, but I'm so happy that they handled things like this with this game for re-rolling. It just makes it so much easier. So the way I usually have it set up is I have all my clones on the left side usually, and then I have my main one. This is the one I'm going to be controlling. You can do a couple things here just to make it easier for you. You can make it bigger. Although it's going to look terrible, you can make it bigger, just to get a little bit more of a view of what you can see. I'm also going to entirely walk through this with you guys, I think. I'm not sure how long it's going to take, but I think it's really worth showing you a full entire run of how to get things done, because there's a little speed quirks you can do throughout all of this re-rolling system. So I want to hit more features here once these are all loaded. Don't try to do this until everything is super duper loaded. You'll know it's loaded because it says guest login at the bottom. And we want to hit Operation Synchronize here. This is the golden ticket to this, and we would just want to have them all selected here and hit start. So what this does is anytime you click on this window here, you're able to reproduce the action to every other window. And you can generally keep them in sync. It really depends on how used to this you are. Like, the more you do this and the more you realize how emulators work, you kind of get better at it. So let's hit select global here. If you can read what it says, you can't change your name, blah, 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 blah. And here we go. So all 7 are started here. This is going to take probably 10-15 minutes, maybe a little more. You do get to see some summons at the end, so that's good, right? You can't click through this, I found, so that's unfortunate. Just gotta wait and watch this wonderful story. Honestly, I'm kind of sad I skipped the cutscenes because they are so amazingly well done. And after all, we named everything Jiggle Simulator, so why not stay true? So we can click skip at the top here for the first part. And what I do is I just spam click. Spamming clicking is usually better than just holding, because you never know when an emulator kind of screws up. And you can see a couple of them are a little lagged behind. I wait for everything to come up and just start spamming click. When it wants you to click somewhere, I do, but in general, the #1 place to be spamming the button is in the bottom right corner on your first ability. Because everybody has a first ability, it doesn't matter which character you're on, you can always use it and it's always up, so that's the way I do it. And also, if you're spamming click on that first ability, it keeps pushing you forwards if you're out of combat too. So what I do is just spam down here, and eventually everybody will get the same thing done. We're all at a cutscene, so I can just hit skip in the top right. We can hit skip again. Here we go, and let's just get moving. Okay, he really likes to talk, so let's use his second skill. Just click on it there, and then click back on his first skill a couple times. And again, if you click a bunch of times on the skill, it automatically casts it. You do not have to click on the unit. That's a big thing people don't realize in this game. And that really speeds this up for sure. Go. And let's just use the third ability here. I also forgot to mention, you can also hit these double arrows at the top of everything to save space if you're interested. I usually do this so we don't have that annoying thing popping up here. That saves us like 10% of space on our screen, which is pretty valuable. So we skip through this again, and if you can see, there are no cutscenes or anything right now, which is just saves you so much time, but it also makes it so you don't have a bathroom break, which is kind of sad. And we're just going to spam the bottom ability here. And the damage is variable in this game, so sometimes people get off sync, but if you just spam the bottom button, it does get in sync much, much faster. There we go, we're all set. Let's get running again. God, I wish, like, with how helpful things are for helping you reroll, I really wish gacha games just let us auto from the start. Like, how hard is it to let us auto? So now we use the thing that explodes the computer here. That is Mr. Angry Punchy Face. Good time to take a sip of coffee. This is definitely going to take like half an hour. Sorry, this is going to be a long video, but I think it's super worth it. Like, I think just seeing this in action and me talking through things will speed up each of your runs. Just keep this on in the background. Maybe you'll get some tips here and there. There's a couple things you can do with tutorials in this game, so I hope this helps that out. Now we are going to arise to a new beginning. And we're going to skip here. This sends us to the beautiful home screen. We're gonna don't show this again so this doesn't pop up. And after your first time you do that, you don't have to do it on the next emulators as well, which is fantastic. Gonna hit confirm here. And we'll just spam through clicking. I try to click somewhere where there's no buttons until it lets me, because if you click where there's buttons, you might accidentally open something on one of the other emulators, which is totally annoying to fix. I also forgot to mention, if something does break on one of them, you can manually click on one of them to keep it going and to get it back up to speed. Because it's just this one, the main one, where your actions are reproduced. Let's go meet Vildred here. Hit skip. And this is where things may start to get off sync, because Vildred has some passives he likes to proc. And he likes to crit every now and then too. We can just spam the click button here and he'll eventually use abilities on the bottom left. And this works with every gacha game, remember? Like, this is a video you can come back to kind of figure out the starting system. No problem. Usually it's when you get to the reroll stage where you actually have to start the next session of units. That's when things start to get a little bad. And you can see a couple of these versions are off sync here, but that is super okay because we'll get there, and just clicking this bottom button will catch everybody up eventually. You could do things like skip tutorial like in this top one here, but I don't like doing that because sometimes it brings you through the pause button and it just makes things all sorts of weird sometimes. So we're super off sync here, but that's fine. We can still click on the bottom here. You just got to get used to finding where buttons are. Like, I know some are over here, this ability is. I know we're going to be able to click it somewhere. I'm trying not to click battle results, or I guess we can just hit battle results. And keep going through this battle result window here. As long as we don't hit confirm on this right window, nothing is going to confirm. So while this looks like we're not doing anything, we are actually getting things done. Okay, so we have 4 of these done now. It's also safe to hit skip in this screen because there's nothing in that window. And then we just want to spam on the right side to get everybody in the same window and hit confirm again. And just spam again. And on to the next stage here. I can't remember if they take us back to the scenario here. No, they don't. Let's go to 1-2. There's a ton of tutorials you can skip. The most important ones are usually at the end of the run. So let's skip these as well here. And we get Iceria this time around. I love the way she runs. I want her just for that. Get some attacking. There's also going to be chests. There's going to be stuff you can click on. I don't recommend clicking them. It's too annoying to really do it, and it doesn't really give you too much. So I definitely just keep spamming at the bottom right. Another good time to take a drink of coffee with my wonderful David's Tea mug. You guys have David's Tea in the States? Do you like David's Tea? I really, really, really like their products. Their merchandise, that's what it was going for. You can see there's a chest there. It's definitely not worth trying to get. You might get something out of it, but I don't super enjoy getting it. So we're all at the same spot again. Just keep the auto attacks going. And there should be one more stage after this to clear. We can use her special ability for that. Okay, we're all in the cutscene now, so I'm going to stop clicking so I can get the skip at the right time, and we're all in the right place. And this next one, it wants you to click that so you can use your burn, but you get enough to burn anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So we can do the burn and do the first skill here. Probably should target the boss with that, but it's not worth it. Just spam that first ability again. This is where you can start to see again that some are just not in sync, but that's okay. There we go, that'll kill everything in the bottom right. And since we're on the screen again, we can hit the skip button and then just spam the right side of the screen because we know there's going to be nothing over there. I think that's the biggest key with this sort of thing, is figuring out where the dead zones are, where there's buttons you can spam that force the next thing to come up without actually going into anywhere. So we're gonna go meet Aether now. This is one of those tutorials you can skip, so let's get them all on the same screen and hit connections. And to skip tutorials in this game, you just kind of sit there. They have a thing in place where if you get stuck on the tutorial for some way, if this game doesn't let you progress, which does happen in other games, they have a skip button that comes up. So if you just don't press any buttons, skip tutorial comes up in the top right. This makes it so we don't get Aether at the start, but it doesn't really matter. Aether doesn't help out too much. And at this point, I like to buff up my team a little bit, so I go into the mailbox at the top, and it's important you wait a second between your actions here so things don't get separated. You only really need to grab the Covenant bookmarks here. Let's grab the Covenant bookmarks. Let's also grab the penguins. This is one where you want to wait a second, because if you click too early, it'll screw up. Let's just grab everything here just to make it easy. It just takes a couple extra seconds. We're not going to take Mercedes, though. We're not going to use her for this reroll. Good. And I think that's everything. Let's grab the leaf just to make sure there's no more penguins. Oh, there we go. There we go. There's some more summon material. And there we go, that's done. So let's click on the right side again because that's our safe zone. We're gonna hit hero in the bottom left and hit team. And we're honestly just going to use Raz for this. It's better to just have somebody super pumped up. So we click on Raz in the top right, hit on enhance, and we wanna find the fire one. So we can click on them here, click on this fire one here, and this levels them up to 23, which is super good enough to do this. And it actually makes it easier with less people and faster with less people. Luckily, this menu is really responsive, so I never lose track of anybody there. That's usually when it would be difficult in games like this. So we go to Adventure here, and we're on to 1-3, so we have 2 to 3 more stages to go, depending on how you want to do this. Again, this is another tutorial. I don't usually skip this one, but I'm wondering if it's faster, so I'm going to wait a second to hit the skip button and see what happens. Perfect, so you can just skip it here. It's probably faster just to accept the rewards, though. And there we go. We've got a supporter. We've got just our one Deuterino. And we should be good here. Okay, we're going to hit skip through everything. And just start running. It is actually possible to die in the tutorial before. I have died in the tutorial, which is why I do penguin my Raz. It just makes things faster. You lose like a minute or so getting the penguins on them, but I think it's worth it. And this is going to get our Guardian, and I don't usually equip the Guardian. I usually just skip it, to be honest. So we can try hitting the skip button here. Everything stays in section. Good. We're going to skip that, of course. We don't really need to burn anything. For this one, let's just use his third ability once we're all synced. And again, this is why I don't like using the third ability as much, because I screwed up the sync in the top left, so that one's going to be behind a second, but that's okay. We'll just keep spamming that bottom ability. And this is what I mean. As you can see, it looks really stupid that we're running like this, but it's super fine. We're clicking through the menus, we're moving forward, we're attacking everything we need to be doing. This one area is all you need to press to advance through the stage. And that's actually like the best part about this. Like, usually you have to think about what you do, but I like that I can literally just click over here and not look at what I'm doing, and I know I'm progressing. There's no possible way I could get stuck in the menus or anything like that. Okay, we're almost there, we're almost there. Gonna hit rank 2, go us, we're the best. And we're on the battle stage, so we're just waiting for the top one to catch up. Top left is rank up 2, that's the one we screwed up on, so let's just spam over here now. And once this one's caught up, we'll just hit confirm. See, I got a little hasty there and I confirmed too far, but it's fine. We can just spam the bottom right click. We also got our Guardian, and it's your choice whether you want to enable this. I honestly don't, because I just don't need it, but it's probably worth doing. So you can just wait for the skip tutorial to come up, but otherwise you can just click into Hero here, go to Team, and then spam your Guardian here. It might actually speed things up. Maybe I should be doing this, but we got a little off sync, which is kind of frustrating. You get really good at clicking. Like, I can see where the button is. You get really good at clicking here. All done. Get our 3 shards. We're gonna hit back at the top left. We are going back on an adventure now. We still haven't picked up our poor boy Prince Aether. And this is going to be the last, or maybe not the last, stage we do, depending on how you like to reroll. So we're gonna click over here. There's no thing that pops up, but we are in it. All we do is hit delete from this point, and we're gonna name this Mango Jiggle, and we're just gonna hit 0, Mango Jiggle 0. Then we have to click onto each individual one and just add a number to the end of them all, so they're different names. So I have Mango Jiggle 0, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then back on the main, we're gonna hit double click or double check. And then we're just gonna hit change. Sometimes that comes up, sometimes it doesn't. I think depending on your latency and how you're lagging, you can skip that option. It saves like 10 seconds if you skip it, which I love. You're stuck with a stupid name, but it'll be changeable in the future. There's no way they stick so many people with these crappy names, so I wouldn't worry too much about that. Okay, let's do some forward-facing running. Again, this is the last actual fighting stage too, so let's just start off with the third ability. Doesn't matter though, usually I just spam the left. And we'll take this opportunity to take another sip of our beautiful coffee. Come on, kill it faster. We're impatient here. Everybody just wants to see the summons. So now we're on the same stage. I'm going to get him up the battle before I start attacking, just in case here. And then we're just going to start letting loose. And this is the stage. If you're going to die, it's going to be on this one. I don't know if it's possible to die if you used penguins on Raz, but it's definitely possible if you don't, even if you do bring Aether and Mercedes. And like I said, bringing Aether and Mercedes does slow this down, so definitely don't bring them unless you want them on your team for some reason, I guess. You can always go back and get them after if your account rolls into something good. So we're at the boss stage here. You actually don't have to go through the tutorial. Like, the tutorial pops up, but you can just keep spamming click. I'm gonna click it off because it's annoying though. And then let's just spam attack, and this is why the Guardian is not too important. We should kill this before the Guardian pops up. And from this point on, I'm going to skip every tutorial we get, just because there's no reason to do them. There we go, all bosses down. And you have 2 choices here. One of them is just to go ahead and do your summons now at 1-4. And the other is to go up to 1-5 and get one more summon. Personally, I think just going to 1-4 is better, but I'm going to 1-5 just to show you guys what's up there. And another thing you could do is if you get something good in 1-4 on one of the accounts that you maybe want to keep, I would then go back to 1-5, see if that extra summon gets you anywhere. It's very low chance that it does, but you never know. So we can now summon, we're just catching it up. Every now and then one drop gets on one and one doesn't get on the other. So let's skip this here. You can actually skip this tutorial as well. We're just gonna sit here for a second and wait for this to pop up. Since we're gonna be doing this anyway, and it just saves us some menu presses. This is like my favorite feature too they put into this game. There's so many minor features in this game that are just so cool. We're gonna hit adventure here, and then we're gonna go back to 1-5. If you don't want to skip this part, you just go into that tutorial, do some summoning. Okay, and this will be the last stage we do, and this is a non-fighting stage. It does take just a couple minutes here, not even a couple minutes, like a minute. So we can skip here and just move everybody to the right. On this stage here, all you need to do is click on this. There's a bunch of people you can talk to, but you don't actually need to. Just spam that north button. And it's another run straight here. And this stage we have to talk to Iseria in the middle to unlock the north button. So we just talk to her, hit skip, go north. And all the way to the left, we need to talk to the queen, I think, over here. And then we're basically done. Yeah, Queen Diane. We'll just hit skip, and from this point on, we hit east on the side, hit skip again, hit clear portal, and we're basically done. And now we get the fun part, the summons. I'm gonna spam the right click here until this is off. Don't want to send a friends list up, and hit confirm. So at this point, we have 2 more tutorials to skip, so I'm just gonna sit here and wait. No reason to go through this again. If the account is good, we can go back and do these things. This one is for the Sanctuary and setting up your Breath of Orbis and stuff, I think. So we can skip tutorial, hit at the bottom. We do need to go to Reputation here at the bottom left and grab these extra orbs in Memory Chain. So we have to grab these 10 here. There you go, and we'll hit Reputation to get back. It's going to do another tutorial. This is a long one, so we really don't want to go through this. So let's wait for this to finish. Skip tutorial. Perfect. And now we are set. And the amount of summons you get depends on what's currently going on. This is going to be different for you, possibly, and different for everybody else. As for summoning tier list, I would pick waifus and go with that. Pick who you really like, but the stars of the show right now are Destina, our Cez, our Ravi, our Yufine, our Haze. There's a ton of really, really, really good units, so basically anybody you really like should be okay. I personally reroll on the Destina banner right now. It's probably better to do Cecilia, to be honest, because you can get Destina in 110, and you cannot get Cecilia in 110. But I'm feeling like Destina is just maybe better, so I'm not sure. But first off, we have to do our free summon, so let's go to Covenant here. There we go, and we can just click through this one because this is a guaranteed summon, 3-star unit for everybody. The best 3-star unit to get is like Tieria and Curious probably. So we'll just click through, and you want to click on the right side here to get through everything. Some people's texts are way longer than the others for some reason. And if you just click on the top right above Raz here, it'll get through all these windows. And once they're all caught up, we're good. So we hit back on the hero over in the top left, and we're now ready for the summons. So yeah, we're going to do Destina, I think. Yeah, we're going to do Destina. No, we're not. We're gonna do Cecilia. We feel like Cecilia today. I don't have a Cecilia account, so we're feeling like that. So we've got 6 summons worth right now. Again, however many you have will be different for everything. So I just click once on the right side. You can just spam through this, but I like to watch the animations. If we get something, if we get an artifact 5-star, the character will appear on the right. If we get a character 5-star, it will appear on the, if we get a artifact 5-star, the character will appear on the left. And if we get a character 5-star, it'll appear on the right. So we got Sid in the top right. Sid is one of the best 4-stars in the game, so that's a really good start. Really hoping to get a 5-star with that account, and then we're super set over there. We also got Curious in the middle, but I don't worry about 3-stars. That's something most people are going to get eventually anyway. So let's summon again here. Give us something. The people want to see the 5-stars. So nothing again, so I'm just going to click through. So we got Carmen Rose, another really good 3-star there, but we don't really care about 3-stars. When you're doing this many summons, you just want the big ones, you know? And again, we can't click summon again. There's a checks box over Montmorency here. You just gotta wait for that to go away. Next up, we get... Dun, da, da, da. Sometimes if there's lag, that means you got a 5-star too. It's either 5-star or duplicate unit, so... We're not getting too much good yet. That's expected. Rate's not so good in this game. But that is fine. That's why we're re-rolling. So let's confirm again. So that one lagged a little bit. Oh, I screwed up. So I'm going to manually catch this one up here. This one lagged a little bit, so I feel like there might be something there. Nope. I thought there was, but nope. So we've got 1 4-star so far in 714, 21 summons, I think. We're just spamming click right now to progress this text box and the top right text box. I don't know why these take so long. I think it's because their voice is going on in the background. Oops. Okay, so don't do what I'm trying to show you here. Try to keep things lined up. But we got it good again. So we have 2 more summons. Accidentally click through there. Ton of 3-stars, right? No 4-stars? Yeah, a ton of 3-stars again. It's all good. It's all good. This is why we do 7 at once. Now, could you imagine doing this on a phone? So, give us something. We want to see something. Okay, so top left got an artifact. Dust Devil would be the best thing we could get up there with Sid. But again, it doesn't really matter too much unless we get a 5-star with it. High Lag Lance, not too important for that current setup, but if we get Cecilia, it would be fantastic. And at this point, we're out of our Covenant bookmark, so I do spend the 100 to refresh. I think we get 4 of those refreshes, maybe 5. We got a gold in bottom left, but again, we don't care about the golds too much, especially when they're not super adorable. Summon again. 3 more tries, I believe. You gotta give us 1 game. Ouch. Ouch. A bunch of jacks. Just waiting for Montmorency. It's definitely they're talking or something, because certain people are really bad at it. Aether and Montmorency are terrible for their text boxes for taking forever. Oh, middle one has something. So middle one's on the left, which is an artifact, and we can see when it hangs there, that either means we've got a new character or a new 5-star, or it means we got a duplicate. We got Shamandra's Staff. I can't even read what it does because of this text thing here, but we don't care about artifacts, to be honest, unless they're the Violent Rune one, basically. So yeah, that is it. We are out of summons now. That's all we get for this reroll. So this is a complete rip at this point. None of these are usable IMOs. So what we do is hit continue to go back here. And then we want to click this top right option here, these 4 squares. And then we want to go to settings. and then we just want to reset. So hit reset here, this red button, hit confirm, hit confirm, hit confirm, and there we go. We're set to go again. We don't have to restart the emulators. We don't have to delete any files. Everything is a-okay, super perfect. So there you go. I really hope this helped out. I know this was way longer than it needed to be, but I really wanted to walk through an entire session because people get really confused. And there's so many little tips and tricks you can get in here. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe as always. If you want to see more rerolls, join us over on Twitch. We're rerolling for our 10-10 Moonlight Summons. Not 1-10, 10-10. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Bye!